Hello and assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today in this video, I'm going to solve some question related to probability from the curriculum of Edexcel IGCSE Maths B91. And before solving the question related to probability, let me tell you that you need to solve questions related to probability you can follow any book, but I would recommend you to follow the book that you can see right now, Complete Mathematics for Cambridge IGCSE. It doesn't matter whether you are a student of Cambridge O level or Edexcel O level, you can solve the probability chapter from here, because the syllabus is same. I mean, I'm talking about the probability topic, and there are total 6 exercises in the probability chapter from this book, and a lot of questions are there. And I personally like the sequence of arrangement of the maths in this book, because at first very simple maths are there in exercise 1, 2, 3. For the first few maths, like 6 to 10 maths, are quite easy. Then it gets a little bit harder, which is very good for the students. Okay, so before going into the question paper, you need to solve all the maths from all the exercises of probability from this book, or you can follow other good books are there as well, no problem. If you just solve maths from one of the book, that will be enough. Okay, but before solving maths from a particular book, take suggestion from your school teacher or private tutor whether those maths are sufficient or not. Okay, fine. So let's solve the question. The question I'm going to solve at first, this question is from 2011 June and paper 1. Okay, you can find this question from internet. There are a lot of websites. If you just simply search Maths B past paper, you will get a lot of link from there. You can download the question paper and also the mark scheme as well. Okay, and also if you need anything, you can knock me in my email. I'll give the mail address in the comment section with the video. You will get the in my mail address. You can contact me there for any help, and if I remain available, I'll try to respond. Okay, so let's solve the question. Now, before solving the question, I'm considering that you have the basic knowledge of probability, so I hope you will understand my explanation. So look at the question. A 6-sided die colored red is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6. Now everybody knows about die, but still let me show it to you. This is a standard die. Now in the question, a 6-sided die colored red is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6. You have to be careful. Maybe you can think like that, whether it should be 5 or not, why the 6 is repeated. Okay, no problem. It can be like that. Okay, so a 6-sided die colored red is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 6. When rolled, each face of the die is equally likely to be facing uppermost. So that means it's a fair die. Fair die means it's not like you can say that it's a perfect cube. So when you are going to roll it, the probability or possibility of getting any number is equal. Like there are 6 sides and there are 6 sides, so possibility or probability of getting 1 will be 1 by 6. Possibility of getting 2 will be 1 by 6. Possibility of getting 3 will be 1 by 6. Why? Because when you are going to roll it, 6 possible outcomes you can obtain. Like you can get either 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So total 6 events are possible. Okay, I mean getting of 1 or 2 or 3, I'm calling them as event. So 6 events are possible. So obtaining 1 will be one of them. So probability of getting 1 is 1 by 6. Probability of getting 2 is 1 by 6. Probability of getting 3 is 1 by 6. But if I ask you what is the probability of getting 6, then it will be 2 by 6. This is not the answer of this question. I'm just explaining so that you can understand the basic if you are lacking it. Okay, because there are 2 6. There are 2 6. So if you roll it, the probability of getting 6 will be double to that of 1, 2, 3, or 4. Why? Because 1, 2, 3, 4, there is only one. I mean, you are going to get 1 on only one side, 2 only on one side, but you are going to get 6 on 2 sides. So that's why when you are going to roll it, the probability of getting a 6 will be double to that of 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. So that's why the probability of getting a 6 will be 2 divided by 6 or 1 by 3. Okay, so this is not the answer of question A. I'm just explaining it so that you can understand the concept of probability. Okay, now let's look at the first question. Write down the probability that the score on the die will be an odd number. Write down the probability that the score on the die will be an odd number. So how many odd numbers are there? We can see that there are 2 odd numbers, 1 and 3. Okay, 1 and 3. So when we are going to roll it, the probability that the score on the die will be an odd number will be 2 by 6. Why? Because total 6 numbers are there. And how many odd numbers are there? 2, 1, and 3. So probability of getting an odd number will be 2 by 6 or 1 by 3. So the final answer is 1 by 3. It's not a very great task, so that's why the mark is only 1. Okay. So let's move on to next question. Second 6-sided die. Previously, one die, we were having one die, which is red colored die. Now we are having a blue colored die, but the numbers here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When this die is rolled, each face of the die is equally likely to be facing uppermost. So it's a fair die. So that means if you will roll it, the possibility or probability of getting each of the number is equal, which will be 1 by 6 in this case. Now, the 2 dice are to be rolled and their scores added together. So this is something like that. I mean, you are having 2 dice, you are rolling them at once, and the result you are getting, like from this die, you are getting 3. And from this die, you are getting 4. So you are gonna add them. 3 plus 4, 7. Okay. So say for example here, you have rolled the die, and in one die you are getting 3, and another die you are getting 6. So the result now will be 3 plus 6, which is 9. Okay. So this is something like that. In this question, when this die is rolled, each face of the die is equally likely to be facing uppermost. The 2 dice are to be rolled and their scores added together. The possible outcomes are shown in the diagram. So this is the possible outcome. I mean, you are rolling the red die and the blue die at the same time or at once. So in question B, write down the possible prime number totals when the scores on the 2 dice are added together. So the question B, C, and D, for finding out the answers, you need to complete this diagram. What we have to do? We have to add the number. Like you have rolled blue die and red die. Say for example, you have got 1 from both the dice. So 1 plus 1, it will be 2. Or it can happen like that. You are getting 1 from red die, but you are getting 2 from the blue die. So what's the result? 2 plus 1, 3. Similarly, 3 plus 1, 4, 4 plus 1, 5, 6, 7. So these things can happen. And in another case, when you are rolling it, you can obtain 6 and 6 from both the dice. So 6 plus 6, it's 12. 6 plus 5, it's 11. 6 plus 4, it's 10. So in this way, you need to complete the diagram. So here it's 6 as well. So result will be same: 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we have completed the diagram. Now look at the first question. I mean, the first question related to the diagram. Write down the possible prime number totals when the scores on the two dice are added together. Now the thing is, we need to know at first what is prime number. I think you know about it. So prime number is a number which can be divided by itself and 1. Prime number is a number which can be divided by itself and 1. Like say for example 7. You can, if you want to have integer number after division, so you can do it only by two number. Like if you divide 7 by 7, you will get 1, and if you divided 7 by 1, then you will get 7. But if you are going to divide 7 by other integers, the result will be decimal number. The results will be decimal number. So prime numbers are those number which can be divided by itself and 1 if we want to have the result as an integer. Okay. So if you look at the diagram here, the question is asking that write down the possible. Okay, wait one second. Sorry, write down the possible prime number total when the scores on the two dice are added together. So what are the possible numbers we can get from this diagram? So at first 2, that's a prime number. 3, that's a prime number. 5 is a prime number, and 7 is a prime number. So these prime numbers we can obtain from the scores. So 2, 3, 5, 7. 2, 3, 5, 7. Did I miss anything? Yes, I have missed one number, 11. So that's the answer. 2, 3, 5, 7. Okay, let's move on to question C. On the diagram, circle all outcomes where the sum of the scores of the two dice is a prime number. Now, we need to circle all the numbers that are prime number. So that means we need to circle this 11 as well. And here's 7, 3, 5, 5, 7. And did we miss? Yes, right. There is 5, 7 as well. So you can do it like that. Check each row and find out the number. So in that way, you will be sure that you didn't miss any of the number, because if you miss it, the answer, we are going to lose mark in C and D. So be careful about it. So check each row and carefully find out all the numbers that are prime number. So 7, 11, 11. Let me check it. Yes, I think we didn't miss any prime number. We did circle all of them. Okay. So that's one mark. Now question D, write down the probability that the sum of the scores of the two dice is a prime number. Now, what's the probability of getting a number, getting a number which is actually a prime number? Okay. So we need to count how many prime numbers we have circled. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we have obtained 14 prime number. So in case of 14 events, how many events are there? Total 36 events, because in horizontal row, in horizontal axis, there are 6 events. And in vertical axis, there are also 6 events. So if you multiply them, 6 into 6, 36. So total 36 possible outcomes are there. And within those 36, 15 events, 15 numbers are prime number. Oh, okay. I've got 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But it should be 15. I think I've missed one, right? I've missed one. So total 15. So 15 divided by total number is 36. So if you simplify it, the answer will be 5 by 12. So that's the answer. And this question is carrying 1 mark as well. Okay. Okay, fine. So I think you have understood. And if you face any problem, or if you want If you want any help related to any question related to math and physics in O level and A level, Edexcel or Cambridge, you can write on the comment section, and you can also knock me in my mail address. I'll try to respond as early as possible. And thank you very much. See you in my next video. Assalamu alaikum.